Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 8 of Read Poetry and Eventually Die. I'm Steve Rogenbach. I'm here in Eugene, Oregon on tour once again, recording this for you. Sorry it has been 2 weeks since the last episode rather than 1. I messed up. But it's hard, and I did post a new video this past week, so I sort of did that instead of doing the podcast, because I had a limited amount of time, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so I got this wild idea, that if for this episode of the podcast, I'm not going to edit it at all, and let's see what happens. I'm not going to edit the file at all. Usually I cut it down quite a bit, and you can hear that in the podcast probably. You're like, he said something else there, but he took it out, but let's try it this way, because, hey, it'll save me time, and maybe you won't even mind, but maybe if you do, I'll edit the future ones again. But anyway, I'm going to talk about Sommer Browning's poetry. I got her book called Backup Singers when she came through Tucson a month or two ago. And what do I want to say about it? Well, first I wanted to give backup on Sommer Browning. Sommer Browning, writes poems, of course, but I think maybe lives in Denver or somewhere around there. But she also does stuff that's like comics, like drawn comics. And the first ones I saw that interested me in Sommer's work, I can just describe to you the concept. There was a drawing of a detached penis and balls, I believe, falling into the frame and landing on a traffic cone, on top of a traffic cone. And then there was another one that was right next to it. This was in West Wind Review, a pretty good literary magazine if you are interested in literary magazines, West Wind Review. Anyway, there was a set of boobs, a drawing of boobs, lowering down in the frame and then eventually touching a telephone. So those were the two. That was my introduction to Sommer Browning, and I really liked those. And then, I read little fragments from her book, Either Way I'm Celebrating. Had it in my possession at some point in the past, but I never got to read the whole book for some reason. It was one of those situations where that happens. But I got this book, and I have read the whole book, and now I'm ready. I'm ready to share some information with you about it. Nice. One of the things that I wanted to say about it is that there seems to be this honoring of friends and this honoring of moments with friends, moments in life, that maybe the poet and just a handful of other people know the full story and know behind it. Do you love inside jokes with your friends? And do you love, sharing, memories that was with your friends? I feel like some poets would be like, well, I do love that, but it's not really applicable to other people reading my book, so I won't write about those things. But I feel like Sommer really in this book honors friends and these personal moments and memories. There's this one poem, for example, which lists all these different places that I'm assuming that Sommer probably, or the speaker of the poem in any case, has had beers, It's like listing off, the beers at this place, the beers at this place, the whiskeys at this place, the beers at this place. And it goes on for quite a while, And to somebody who doesn't know any of the places, for somebody like me who doesn't even go to bars, really, doesn't really like bars, it was, I had no reference point for any of these places, so it didn't stir up the same feelings in me as it probably does in Sommer, and as it probably may in other people who are familiar with the places or shared certain memories with Sommer in those places. And that was an interesting choice this Sommer made to include that stuff. And yet, you know what was interesting about it is that I feel like I appreciated it for that, even though I didn't have the reference point. I'm like, well, somebody does. Somebody does, and this is probably like, oh, great memories. This is probably like, oh, great stuff, you know? And also in the beginning of the book, when Sommer gives, like, you know, the dedication to certain people, you know, they're listed specifically by name, and I feel like there's sort of this tone. I don't know what was making me think this, but just the way it was introduced. I'm sorry, I'm not editing this episode. It actually says, and this is interesting because I didn't remember that it said this, but it says this book is for friendship. To Sam Rio, my adventurer and crony escort. In memory of our life in Richmond, Virginia, and in awe of Melissa Wickramassicker, I don't know how to pronounce the name, but great. And to Pete's Candy Store in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, I bow to your tenders and patrons. So it's these specific dedications. It's for friendship. So good job. That's just something about the book that you might cherish or find notable. I will read you some poems. One of the short poems that immediately grabbed my attention was on page 25. We need some music in here. We need some music on the bus. Is anyone listening to me? Why isn't there music on the bus? Little 4-sentence poem. You can't deny it. You can't deny it. 2 pages later, in the same book, I read from you this great poem. Check it. Check it again. The light, the account, the baby. Check it. Then check again. The weight, the recipe. Check them. The shelves. Then check them again. Enough flour? Enough sugar? Check the recipe again. No, check the receipt. Is there baking powder? Wait, check the receipt. Check the recipe. Sorry. The stove. No editing. No editing of this podcast. Sorry. The stove. Check the stove. Is it on? Check the baby again. Is she on? Wait, 4 cups seems 222. Check the recipe. Check the stove. The bowl. Is it washed? Check the recipe. Wash the bowl. Check the baby. 1, 2, 3, 4 cups. But wait, the sifter. Check the drawers. Check the recipe. How much sugar? And the baby. Check her. Water. Check. Check. To see if it needs water. 1, 2, 3, 4. Check the measuring cups. Where are the measuring cups? Check the drawers. It's powder for cookies, soda for breads. But check. Check on that. Look it up. Check on it. Check. Do y'all like that? I like that, you know? I like that. Check the baby. Is she on? You know? Is your baby on, bro? Does your baby even lift? Is your baby even on? What's up? There's this great poem in the book that is a long poem that in which the segments of the poem oftentimes are like blurbs. It seems that Summer Browning wanted to write a whole lot of blurbs. And so, but it's very fun blurbs. They're creative blurbs, you know. And I'll read you some of these great blurbs. Who knows? Are they a blurb about the book that I'm currently reading? Or is it a blurb about other stuff? We don't know. Here's section 11 of this long poem. I don't want her to take this the wrong way because I don't know her at all, but I think she should start a cult with her poems. Force her followers to climb intimidating trees, then walk hundreds of miles without destination to understand presence. Sign them up for tennis lessons, but give them scuba gear to teach them reality. Give them glasses of water when they cry, puzzles when they're zonked. With her poems as their dharma, her followers will glimpse the belly of ordinary life. They'll die brainwashed and better for it. So that is an interesting way to compliment someone's text. I think she should start a cult with her poems. Indeed. Who has had a better idea than that? Who has had a better idea than to start a cult with poems? Okay. Let's see. I got a couple other great excerpts from this blurb poem. Page 63, 64, and 70. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So I read this on the airplane, and I read it all in a row, and not entirely in a row, but in the same trip. So congratulations to me. Here's one that I said was good. I was chatting with my friend, and I said, "Help! The people in her poems are trees and birds and tilt-a-whirls, and most especially people." And she said, "She's funny and she writes about terrified investigations." And I said, "Help! Her buildings look like people, and the oceans in her poems look like oceans in poems, and poetry buildings look like looking. And in a matter of a few lines, ancient oceanic people weave water into mittens for your feet." And she said, "Those are called socks. And besides, everyone's and everything's and everywhere's feelings get beautifully mixed up. That tree crying for its man is really religion longing for a dark river." How do you like that one? Now I'm going to read this other excerpt from the same poem. I hope you're feeling good. Hope you're feeling good about it. Sniffing this great deep air of Eugene, Oregon right now, and I got a little bit of a stuffy nose this morning. Am I going to be sick? Or is it just allergies? Or is it something else, Why is this happening to me? We don't know. That's the beauty. That's part of the gift, But I will tell you one thing about the Pacific Northwest. It is lush as heck up here. It's fertile, Walk around, the greens just seem deep. The ground feels soft and moist. It just feels like things can grow here. You know what I'm saying? And I'm currently in a parking lot, and I can even say that. But the other day I was in a forest, and it was very mossy. And I was like, this is truly, truly, truly fertile land, So shouts out to the Pacific Northwest. Okay. Here's another excerpt from this poem by Sommer Browning. She has many fans, short, direct ones. I love her. Rhyming ones. She's into sound and likes peeps year-round. And longer ones. A long-lost cousin, a cousin with puffed-out cheeks, grabs your hand and pulls you up a ladder into a treehouse without saying anything. The most beautiful and bizarre treehouse. And then he lights it on fire, and you are standing in the center, watching the treehouse in flames around you, wondering why he brought you there to die. And then you realize that his cheeks are filled with water, and he spouts the water, and the fire disappears, and you are standing alive in a ghost house high up in a tree. But all that happens in 5 seconds. And this happens in each sentence of her poems. Okay? Okay, okay, okay. So that was pretty great as well. And just going to read one more excerpt from this book. Now, are you ready? Are you ready for it? And I'll give you one more little tidbit. I feel that, so I found Sommer Browning's work in West Wind Review. Now, if you're familiar with that lit mag at all, you'll know it has a little bit of flarfy flavor to it. I don't know how many of you are familiar with flarf. I love, not all flarf, I guess, but I was highly influenced by flarf. I do have a love for flarf. And Sommer Browning's work in this book didn't particularly strike me as flarf or super flarfy, but in certain moments it does. There's a poem called Best Of near the end of the book, which does have a good bit of flarf flavor. So if you live the flarf life, then you might appreciate that about moments of this book. But hey, if you don't know what the F flarf is, you could consider looking it up. It could be something that you'd be interested in. If you like funny poetry made from internet language, then especially look it up. But okay. All right. Is everybody feeling all right? Is everybody feeling okay? Because, okay, I'll just get right into it. Last thing I'm going to read from Sommer Browning's book right now. It's still from this poem with all the blurbs. Do you know that moment when you're disagreeing with someone you love? A real stupid argument. and you have the perfect opportunity to make a joke and dissolve the whole thing, and you do, and the person you love laughs and gives you a kiss? Do you know the moment when you hear a subway coming, rush down the stairs, and hop immediately onto it, not knowing if it's going uptown or downtown, and it turns out it's going exactly the way you want to go? How about when you're on the toilet and remember you're out of toilet paper, damn it, but look hopelessly anyway and find an old lonely roll way back in the cabinet? Her poems do not have any of these moments. So I truly like that poem. Not even for the ending, but just for thinking about those moments, The moment, thinking specifically, the subway moment is truly real. I've had that happen to me, but, the moment of being in an argument with someone you love and having the opportunity to make a joke to dissolve the whole thing and doing it, and then, that's just so real to me in such a way that I feel, So, God bless, It is Mother's Day today, so when I'm recording this anyway, so hopefully I'll get it posted today, and if you remember to say good things to your mother, if you have a mother, that is a good thing to do usually. Mothers usually put in a lot of work and don't get enough credit for it. Okay, oftentimes that is the case. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go catch my bus, and thanks so much, and Sommer Browning. This book is called Backup Singers, and it's new. I believe it's in the past year. It's recent, 2014, yes, on Birds LLC. Great name for a press, Birds LLC. Is there anything else I need to say? I'm not editing this. Oh, give me feedback, please, on whether it was okay to post this non-edited, or whether I should definitely stick to editing them, because it usually does take me an hour or two to edit them, and maybe it really makes no difference to you. Maybe you even appreciate the casual nature of the rolling recording. Maybe that's more real. We don't know. Okay, love you. Bye.